Greetings, folks. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2019. I'm Tom Weinerweaver, and this is my commentary, and I think you can see by the picture what I want to talk about. Now, the picture is taken from Sean Hannity's monologue on March the 11th. Now, I've had to convert that to an MP3 so I can play it for you, but I'm going to play it for you. And then, of course, if you want to see the video, I'm going to give you the link to the video. All right, you'll find it in the description of YouTube, all right, below here, below the picture. Okay, here's the thing. In this... Well, I'll tell you what. You listen to this monologue, and I want you to concentrate on listening to what is said about capitalism, and because that is what I will be responding to. Okay, take it away.
Welcome to Hannity, a big weekend celebration for the radical, socialist, far-left Democrats in this country. There she is, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, suggesting that this great country of ours is garbage, that capitalism is irredeemable. Ronald Reagan and FDR's New Deal was racist. We have fake news chief, CNN President Jeff Zucker, trashing Fox News and everyone who works here. I have a response for him tonight. Also, known liar Adam, Shifty, Cowardly Schiff. He sent his supporters out a letter, a desperate plea for help, begging for money, using my name, trying to raise money on my name because we dared to call him out. We will call him out again tonight. And stay tuned because we'll cover this very important Hannity watch on the sad state of this Democratic Party. It's also a dangerous state. We start with the Speaker of the House, in name only, Nancy Pelosi. In an interview with the Washington Post, Pelosi said impeaching President Trump, it's just not worth it because the process is too divisive. Here's my message tonight. Do not ever believe a single word she says. Pelosi now presides over what is the most radical, extreme group of socialist Democrats that have ever existed. And that includes socialist members of Congress that we know want to get rid of oil and gas, the lifeblood of our economy, all gas-powered cars, cows and planes in the next 10 years, and tell everybody it's free. Everything's free, whether you're willing or unwilling to work. And breaking tonight, the person that's really leading the Democratic Party, Ocasio-Cortez, she doesn't think Trump's impeachment is off the table. I'd believe her more than Pelosi. Pelosi's utterly controlled by these new radicals, and she knows her power is in jeopardy every day. She will go with their every whim. And I have a message for those that think, oh, socialism is so cool, everything's free. Well, Democratic, genius Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, over the weekend, she took a plane. We're not supposed to have those in 10 or 12 years. Well, the world's going to end in 12 years. Where she offered her expertise on a variety of issues at the South by Southwest Festival. It's a liberal festival. Naturally, she found time to bash capitalism and America in the process. Let's take a look.
Capitalism to me, it's an ideology of capital. It puts capital, the most important thing is the concentration of capital, and it means that we seek and prioritize profit and the accumulation of money above all else, and we seek it at any human and environmental cost. That is what that means. And to me, that ideology is not sustainable and cannot be redeemed.
Yeah, an irredeemable system that has lifted more people out of poverty than any other system in the history of mankind on Earth. An economic system that has drastically improved the quality of life for hundreds and hundreds of millions of Americans over time. Billions of others trying to duplicate our system around the world. But Ocasio-Cortez, she wants to trade it in for a socialist system, like Venezuela, North Korea, Cuba, the former Soviet Union? And that's not all. Ocasio-Cortez also went on to suggest that the United States, it's pretty unbelievable, we're basically a garbage country. Take a look.
We've strayed so far away from what has really made us powerful and just and good and equitable and productive. And so I think all of these things sound radical compared to where we are, but where we are is not a good thing. And this idea of like 10% better from garbage shouldn't be what we settle for.
In reality, the only things 10% better than garbage in this country are some of these ridiculous ideas. And the sad and scary part is these beliefs are shared by, 2020 presidential candidates, over 100 Democrats now. And like any far-left extremist, the lawmakers' views would not be complete without everyone thinking everyone pretty much is a racist. And during her remarks, she called FDR's New Deal racist, even suggesting Ronald Reagan's a racist. Take a look.
A perfect example of how special interests and the powerful have pitted white working class Americans against brown and black working class Americans in order to just screw over all working class Americans. Is Reaganism in the 80s when he started talking about welfare queens. Because this one specific group of people that you were already kind of subconsciously primed to resent, you give them a different reason that's not explicit racism, but still rooted in a racist caricature.
All right, let's recap. Ocasio-Cortez, the new radical extreme socialist Democrats, enlightening the crowd at the South by Southwest Festival by calling Reagan a racist, FDR a racist, suggesting the United States is based on a garbage system, and she wants you, the American people, to hand over the keys to your private businesses, your private property. She wants the government control of the means of production. Literally, she wants state control of all health care. How did that Obamacare work out? And all energy. We're going to be no oil or gas in 10 years. Good luck. And she wants to tell every business how to operate. Oh, boy. And according to her, her government knows best. Not you, not we, not the American people, not the people who risk, reward, incentive, and create goods and services that make our lives easier and better, that people want, need, and desire. She and her colleagues know better, which is a pretty disturbing concept, because she actually had a business. And we found out today she owes nearly $1,900 in back taxes over her small, defunct business that she founded in 2012. Remember, socialism is all about do as I say, not as I do, and you're always generous with other people's money. We're all supposed to pay taxes, not them. She's just in government to reap the rewards. We'll have more on this coming up tonight. First, I want to turn our focus to the arm of the Democratic Party, and that, of course, is fake news all over the place, but in this particular case, fake news CNN. Now, the network will soon be facing a whopping $250 million lawsuit for its willful smears, slander, besmirchment, libel of Covington High School student Nick Sandmann. I'm going to make a prediction. CNN is going to lose a fortune. You know Attorney Linwood. He's been on this show. He will crush them. Their public vilification of a young 16-year-old high school student who did nothing wrong, showed incredible grace under pressure, was nothing short of a disgrace. His life will never be the same. But their rush to judgment wasn't just immediate. It went on for more than 2 days. And don't forget, CNN singled out Sandmann. Why? He was wearing a red Make America Great Again hat, the new trigger for the extreme left. Now, recently, CNN president, professional Trump hater, one who presides over all of those lies against the 16-year-old, he emerged from his glass house, had the gall to call the Fox News channel a propaganda outlet. Jeff, I have a message for you. How about a public apology from you and your on-air talent, if you want to call them talent, your networks, your disgusting rush to judgment, your smearing, your slandering? Let's just stay with a 16-year-old kid and your network's hatred of Trump, which caused this, because that's all you cover every second of every day. And you also said the employees who work here, my friends and colleagues, support a place that has done tremendous damage to the country. Look at the damage you did to that 16-year-old. Would you like it if it was your kid? That from Zucker, the head of the network, that literally hates Trump so much they'll go after a 16-year-old and not ask a single question about whether what they hear and see a snippet is true. Like the fake story. Let's go through CNN's history about Trump. Remember Trump and the prime minister feeding the fish in the pond? Yeah, they got that wrong. Or CNN fake news story about Trump and WikiLeaks? Yeah, wrong again. Or the fake news story about Trump and Russia that forced 3 CNN journalists to resign? Wrong. Or the fake news story about Sessions and Russia that they were forced to walk back? Wrong again. Or the fake news story predicting that Comey would refute Trump? Nope. And Fox and fake news goes on and on and on. Every day, every hour, conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory, all driven by an irrational rage and hatred for President Trump. Do they ever tell one success story? Record low unemployment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women in the workplace, millions out of poverty off of food stamps. Every second hour of every day, every year for 3 years. Now, sadly, this hatred, it's only the tip of the iceberg. Journalism's dead. Their anti-Trump obsessive coverage, it's impossible to watch, which is probably why so few Americans actually watch. All right? We've got the video proof. As Warner Wolf used to say, let's go to the videotape.
Impeachment.
Impeachable.
Impeached.
Impeachment.
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 Impeachable.
Impeachable.
Impeachment.
The Russia investigation.
Colluded.
Putin. Collusion.
Adult film actress Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels. The Stormy saga.
The Stormy Daniels affair. Adult film star Stormy Daniels.
She's a holer. Is there a difference if the president said hole or house?
Do you think these countries are holes?
Donald Trump has turned the Oval Office into a hole.
Now, the really sad part of what they call as news, we know it's not, is that many people, sadly, around the world, I want you to see a bigger picture here. They see America through the lens of CNN International and their coverage, pretty wide-reaching, as they were the first cable news, so-called news network on the market. They're giving the world a very distorted, perverted view of our country every single day. They never talk about America's greatness, America's success, the president's success. Just hate Trump all day long. That's what the world sees through the CNN lens. And, of course, in addition to their obsessive coverage, we know that fake news CNN also utilizes bias of omission, again, to malign the president. Look at this study from Newsbusters. CNN's Wolf Blitzer, the Situation Room, frequently promoted the congressional Democrats' frivolous and wrong investigations into the president. Last week, Blitzer found time to ask 86 uncritical questions about the investigation, while asking only 3 that challenged the never-ending inquiries, in spite of all of the news we had last week. If Zucker really wants to see propaganda, just look at your own network, because that's all you are. And while Zucker and his fake news minions are busy hating all things Trump all the time, they also continue to provide 24/7 cover for the collusion conspiracy theorist Adam Schiff. And we change gears. Adam Schiff sent out a fundraising letter this weekend. Literally his team, Team Adam, they're begging, they're pleading for help, all because of this show, and that we dared to tell the truth and call out his constant lying and leaking. In a new fundraiser ploy, there's Adam, well, we call him the cowardly Schiff, because he won't come on the program. But he's begging supporters to pitch in at least $5, please, to send a message to Hannity after he dedicated 40 minutes of his show covering the cowardly Schiff. And add to the quote, trust us, Adam isn't about to back down because of Sean Hannity. Best part of all this is cowardly Schiff, we've offered him the full hour, even after liberal Bill Maher told him to do it. Congressman, I'll give you 3 hours, too, of my radio show on 610 of the best radio stations in the country. So you clearly watch the show. You're now using my show to beg for money from your adoring fans. Come on the program. I'll give you the full hour, 3 hours of my radio show. I will point out every single lie, every piece of propaganda, misinformation that you have been peddling for 2 straight years. And guess what? We have every lie of yours chronicled, every TV appearance chronicled. We will expose your efforts to undercut this democracy and undermine the president and say things that are just false. like reportedly sending staff. Oh, let's see. Why did your staff meet with Michael Cohen for 10 hours before his recent testimony? Well, that doesn't sound, that's not witness tampering, is it? Doesn't that sound a little bit like collusion? And of course, that's nothing for Schiff, because he's the one guy we have on tape, really colluding with the Russians so that he can impact the electoral process in this country. It's amazing this is on tape. Will somebody please send this to Robert Mueller? Maybe he missed it. Take a look.
And she met with Trump and she brought him 1 hour Russian girl, celebrity Olga Buzova, who also known as a person with a strange reputation.
Olga, and how do you spell her name?
Olga Buzova.
And what's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
And so Putin was made aware of the availability of the compromising material?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. We will be back in touch with you through our staff to make arrangements to obtain these materials for our committee and for the FBI, and I appreciate you reaching out to us.
Naked Trump pictures? And Vladimir knows about it? By the way, it was all, he got set up, but he thought he was talking to a real Russian. Just like kind of Obama didn't know his mic was hot. Tell Vladimir I'll have a lot more flexibility after the election. Tell him we can do the deal then, but we won't tell the American people. So you can see the hate Trump mob. They're willing to do anything, everything to try and take down this president, like making materially false statements to a FISA court. We're now getting all the confirmation. I told you it was coming, tick-tock, of what the Hill's John Solomon reported months ago surrounding the Dirty Steele dossier. According to newly released testimony, Bruce Orr warned the top FBI brass, yes, Christopher Steele hated the president, that the dossier was tainted with an anti-Trump bias, that it was never verified, it was never corroborated. Now, you got to give Steele some credit because he managed to get paid by a Russian oligarch, the FBI, Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the DNC, all for the same dossier that he doesn't even stand by himself. Pretty amazing job if you can get it. Now, in the 2016 FISA application against Carter Page, it reads, quote, the FBI is unaware of any derogatory information pertaining to Christopher Steele. Lie. It gives us some of the most damning evidence yet. The top officials inside, upper echelon, not rank and file, the FBI, DOJ, they made materially false statements to the FISA court. They purposely withheld information. They committed a conspiracy, a fraud against an American citizen, denying that citizen of their constitutional rights, all to get an opportunity to spy on the Trump campaign through an associate at the height of the 2016 election. Then they leaked all the lies to you, we the people, so that it would influence your vote. Russian paid-for lies to influence the vote. Let not your heart be troubled. Tonight, my sources are again confirming to me that those who broke the law, those that abused power, they are going to be held accountable. So far, we've not been wrong.
Okay, folks. I must apologize that I've got this old, antiquated machinery. It's limited to what it can do. I can't do videos and I can't do video clips. I have to play the whole thing. I can't say stop the tape or anything like that. But anyway, so and I know his monologue went over 17 minutes, but I hope you listened to what they said, what she said, and what he said about capitalism. Now, let me tell you something. Sean Hannity is a Catholic. I don't think that means anything. Okay? There's one thing I know about the Catholic Church, is they believe in community. I don't think the Catholic Church believes in capitalism. I might be wrong, but I don't think they do. And he's bashing her, and the fact is, what she said is more Christ-like than what Sean Hannity. In fact, Sean Hannity, if he were alive at the time of Christ, he'd be a scribe supporting the Pharisees. Because Jesus came and taught love, taught giving. He talked about community. And you can see what happened in the early church in Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 4. I mean, what you can see there can plainly be called communism. Nobody was hungry because everybody was fed. Nobody was naked because everybody gave them clothes, and on and on and on. While they listened to the apostles' teaching, not one person under the Holy Spirit said that anything that belonged to him was his own. You see the same thing in Acts chapter 4, okay? The same thing. And then, of course, in Acts chapter 5, we have this Ananias and Sapphira. You know, their crime was not holding anything back. It was lying. That's what their crime was. The apostles didn't say, hey, listen, if you want to keep some of that stuff, you know, I don't think they would have said anything, but they lied about it. We sold everything. No, they didn't. So, you know, what we saw in the early church, in the earliest days of the church, from the day of Pentecost to whenever, was communism. Capitalism, the way it is today, is nothing but greedy selfishness. Okay, so he says capitalism has led more people out of poverty than ever. All right? That might be true. But it has also created poverty for a lot more. He's not going to tell you that. The fact is, I don't care what kind of economic system we have, whether it be capitalism or whether it be socialism or whether it be whatever it is, as long as it's motivated by love. Capitalism is not motivated by love. It's as simple as that. Now, I wrote an article some time ago. All right, where'd I put it? Here it is. I wrote an article some time ago called, Was Jesus a Capitalist? It starts out, was Jesus a capitalist? I'll give you the link to this too, by the way. Was Jesus a capitalist? Let me give you some background. One weekend back in 2009, there was a taxpayer march on Washington. The only thing that people had in common is that they all see that this country, the USA, is going in the wrong direction. A fair amount of them were protesting the socialist direction the Obama administration is taking this country at warp speed. All of them were protesting the runaway spending in Washington. Well, that didn't come to an end under conservatives, did it? Anyway, back to the article. Many of them claimed to be Christians. They touted the virtues of free market capitalism. I came away from watching the event on C-SPAN impressed with the idea that those who said they were Christians thought that Jesus was a capitalist. Well, if Jesus was a capitalist, would he tell the rich ruler to sell everything he had and give to the poor? What Jesus said seems to be more a mandate for redistribution of wealth. And Jesus thought that we should pay taxes, give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. He said that after being showed a coin and asking whose likeness was on the coin. Then Jesus chased those engaged in capitalistic endeavors out of the temple, claiming, "You have turned my Father's house into a den of thieves." And finally, Jesus said, "The love of money is the root of all evil." Well, actually, Jesus didn't say that. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Who did say it? It wasn't Paul. It might have been Paul. It might have been Paul to Timothy. But whatever the case may be, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Anyway, when you consider these facts, how can anyone conclude that Jesus was a capitalist? What principles can we establish for today from what Jesus said and did? 1. Rich people should help poor people. 2. We should pay our taxes. 3. Buying and selling for profit must not happen in the church. Now notice I said in the church. 4. We must not be greedy. We must not be a lover of money. These principles suggest that Jesus could not be a capitalist today. I have no doubt that if Jesus was a politician, he would be condemned by the political right as being a liberal. But then, I don't believe that Jesus would ever stoop so low as to be a politician. He might be a community organizer or a liberal activist. No way Jesus would fit into the conservative crowd of today. So, if Jesus is not a capitalist or conservative, what was he? Jesus believed in people, helping people at the very least. How far can we go with Jesus' commands of love? How far should we love one another? By example, the teachings of Christ are to love one another all the way, even to the point of death, as he died for the people he loved. Well, that's the end of that article. And like I said, I will give you the link. You can join, let's see, it's called Way of Truth Forums, and you can join if you want to, say something about it. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, what Alexandria Cortez said was far more Christ-like than what Sean Hannity said, which tells me Sean Hannity is anti-Christ. Now, I'm not saying she was perfect in what she said. I'm just saying it was more Christ-like than what Sean Hannity said. Okay? Jesus commanded love. Love for God. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your enemy. And if we would practice love in economics, what would it look like? It certainly wouldn't look like this selfish, greedy capitalism that we have today. Excuse me. That we have today. My coffee just said hello. Jesus, now I just lost my train of thought. Isn't that something? But anyway, Jesus was not a capitalist. He couldn't have been. Love demands more of us than what capitalism does. Folks, I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of conservatives today. Conservatives are anti-Christ. They are anti-love. Because Christ taught about love. So, I say a big thumbs up on this one to Miss Cortez. Great job. I don't always agree with her, but I agree with her on this. In fact, about the only time I've disagreed with her so far is this Green New Deal. Oh, and let me say something about that. I just remembered. We were talking about, they're talking about, the economy and fossil fuels and all that stuff. And Sean, of course, was putting words in her mouth when he said some of these things, that they want to get rid of planes, they want to get rid of, anyway, she didn't say anything like that. And I never heard her say anything like that. So, there he was, lying through his teeth, putting words in her mouth. That's called fake news, folks. And Fox News does a lot of that. That's why I don't watch them. Well, I don't watch them because I don't have cable. Cable, the way it is today, is a waste of money. But then again, some people have a lot of money that they can waste. But if you happen to be a poor person, get rid of your cable. Get rabbit ears. I have them, and let me tell you something. I get about about 10 stations, and I'm pretty happy with the stations I have. But anyway, Sean was putting words in her mouth. And he does that a lot. Folks, today's capitalism is ungodly. President Obama was right. This is not a Christian nation. And Sean Hannity is not a Christian man. So, anyway, I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought several times here. Anyway, you just think about it. Jesus was not a capitalist. Jesus condemned the capitalist of his day. And I have no doubt that he would condemn the capitalist in the church. The capitalists like John Hagee and Pastor Jefferson and what's his name? Joel Osteen. They are capitalists. And I don't know how it would be done today, but I think it's time for Jesus to clear the temple again, don't you? They are selfish human beings. They are ungodly. They are antichrist. Anyway, that's another subject. Okay, I'm sorry that it's this is probably going. Let me see how far. No, I don't think we got to a half hour yet. Oh, no, I guess we did. Okay, so folks, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry if I disturbed some of you, and I know I'm going to get some I'm sure I'm going to get some feedback on this. But folks, now I remember. I gotta go with this. I got an idea here. For this Green New Deal, we don't need everything that they claim they want. I don't want everything they want. What I do want is a hemp industry. Now, why would a government say you can't grow hemp? Do you know why? This is what I believe. I believe hemp is a very versatile plant. I mean, there are thousands of uses. Let me tell you, did you know that Henry Ford built a car out of hemp? That's right. Did you know he ran that car on hemp oil? So, with hemp, you can build cars and you can run those cars on hemp. Hemp is so versatile, you can make clothing out of it. Now, a hemp industry would be a green industry, and I support a hemp industry 100%. The only reasons government said stop growing it is because big oil probably told them to. Can you imagine having a hemp plant, that can give you oil to run your cars on, that can give you oil to heat your homes on, and it won't be so expensive. We don't have to mine it. It's a weed, for goodness sake. It grows wild. It would be nice if we could cultivate it so we can have the best. But the fact is, it's a weed. And it's a very versatile weed. I've heard that you can make something out of hemp. that resembles concrete. And you can build homes with it. I mean, how many uses does this hemp plant have? So, and not only that, the same plant can give you medicine. Medicine that cures cancer. So, I'm in favor of a hemp industry. And I think it's high time we convert our economy from a fossil fuel. Look at the mining. Look at what fracking is doing to our water table and everything else. I mean, fracking is poisoning us. Oh, I know. You conservatives will say, no. But the fact is, fracking is dangerous. Okay, you can call me a liberal if you want to. I mean, Jesus was considered a radical of his time. And so, for Sean Hannity, a scribe, to call Miss Cortez a radical, to me, is a good thing. All right. Okay, so there you have it. We need an economy based on hemp. And we need an economy based on love. Otherwise, we have selfishness. And, Sean Hannity doesn't want to tell you the truth about poverty and how capitalism causes poverty. You see, under capitalism, there are people who accumulate the wealth, and there are people at the bottom that have none. So he doesn't want to tell you that. So anyway, okay. I'm way over time, all because I don't have the wherewithal to do the right thing with clips and stuff like that. So, if you want me to have a better studio, a better equipment, I have to see what YouTube says, the rules say about making money off of these things. Okay, thanks for listening.